This is Kevin at Pope with a Pope's Perspective and my 30 Days of Disney. So, I originally had this video stream off to my introduction to this series, but I thought it would be better to have this as a separate video. So I'm filming a new introduction, and we are starting off with Hercules. Did you think I was going to take off my shirt? I'm not really a Hercules. No. I'm not a Hercules. But Hercules is a Hercules. So, let's go back into the late 90s, 1997. Hercules came out. Now, I have to admit, as when I first saw previews for Hercules, I wasn't really the biggest fan of the animation style of Hercules. I'm like, I don't know about this. I'm like, I don't know. There's something about it. I don't really like it. But one day, my mom took my sister and I to go see Hercules. I saw Hercules and I'm just like, I really dig this. This is a really fun story. So, basically the whole thing, Hercules was Disney's first delve into Greek mythology, Greek gods. It wasn't your princess and prince and all of that stuff. Hercules was a god, and he became mortal, but he kept his strength, and he's trying to become a hero so that he can he's trying to become a hero so that he can join his family with the gods. And it's got some great characters, okay? He's trained by Philoctetes, who is, what is it called, a satyr? Or half goat, half man. He's voiced by Danny DeVito, and it is a Danny DeVito character. And so you got the sidekick Pegasus, Hercules' faithful steed, his flying faithful steed, because Pegasus has wings. And it's just, what really makes this film stand out though is they gave the music a gospel drive, like the gospel choir music and "Praise the Lord" and the boo doo 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 and all that stuff. And this music, like, I want to sing these songs, but I don't want to get risks of copyright infringements, and so we're not gonna do that. But the music is just a blast. This thing is a kick. Why has there not been a Broadway stage musical? So apparently last summer they did like kind of a, I don't know if it was like official adaptation, but they did a stage version of Hercules. It was kind of a little one-time thing. So I don't know if that's going to branch out into a full musical, but it needs to happen. It should happen. And Hercules is just a lot of fun. It's Disney like we know it. Now, there are some things like, I think Hercules tried to be like kind of, it gives that ancientness, but it tried to add like a little bit of modernness and like give some modern references, and I wouldn't say they work as well as something like Aladdin. But the movie is still fun. And when you got Disney villains, Hades he has personality. Hades is just like, wow, like he's down at the bottom. You can't get more down at the bottom than Hades. Hades is Lord of the Underworld. He did not choose that responsibility. He was given it, and he wants to rise to the top. And so I'm like, you know what? I can see why Hades is a little upset about that. He kind of got the bum deal on that. But at the same time, he's a trickster. He's tricky. But James Woods, and so much personality, so much like, hi, I'm Hades, Lord of the Dead. Hi, how you doing? And so it's like, I don't know, he's kind of like a slick, smooth, oily, used car salesman. That's kind of that type. But it's just like, the character of Hercules, like the arc that he goes on in trying to find out like what makes a true hero? What is a true hero? And it's just, it's so moving. And then you've got the love interest, Megara. So much sass. Like, this woman she's like, I'm a damsel, I'm in distress, I can handle it. I mean, she's got style, okay? And I love Megara. She's one of my favorite Disney female characters, and maybe she's my favorite. No, Giselle is my favorite. I'm sorry, Megara. But apart from Giselle, Megara may be my favorite Disney female character. But this film has a lot of fun and pizzazz, and Hercules, it's a good time. And that is the Post Perspective. Tune in tomorrow. We started off in the ancient past. We're gonna go into the future. Ah, you stuck around. Now, there was more I wanted to talk about with Hercules, but we are entering spoiler territory. And instead of doing a separate video with the spoilers because of what this is, I wanted to keep it in the same video. So, you have been warned. I am going into spoilers of the film. So, I talked about Megara, which, by the way, I almost forgot, like, there's only one problem I have with Megara. She does not have more songs. I won't say I'm in love. That song is so, oh my god, that I love that song. That song is so good, and just hearing Susan Egan's voice, and like, you hear the sass in the song when she's singing, like, you can hear the sass. It's like, no, I'm not gonna say I'm in love. No, I'm not in love. And it's just that I love that song. That song is awesome. So Megara, she's had a history, like, she's working with Hades, and because she had a love, she sold her soul so her love could live, and that guy ran off with somebody else. Well, that sucks. It's like she gave up her soul for someone that just, like, that's really sucky. So she's working with Hades. She's basically forced to work with Hades now. And Hercules comes in, and she starts to feel smitten with Hercules. And she doesn't want to admit it. She will not admit it. That's why she sings the song. Okay? So Hades uses Hercules. So Hades uses Megara as a leverage. It's like, I gotta find this guy's weakness. And he finds his weakness. She's like, oh no, he doesn't have a weakness. Oh, I think he does. So he uses Megara, and he makes a deal with Hercules. It's like, you know what? I'm like, you give me your strength, and I will make sure that nothing happens to Megara. And Megara, it's like, this is the love of your life. Come on. I make deals. We got a deal to make. Come on, let's make this deal. And Hercules agrees to it. Here's the thing I like about what's interesting about Hades. Hades is a man. Hades is a god of the underworld. He makes deals. He is bound by his word. Okay? Not every villain keeps their end of the bargain. Villains make deals and they break them. It's like, oh, I'm the villain. I do what I want. Which, depending on the villain, sometimes I do not like that. It's just like, oh, come on. I'm like, if everyone is just going to go back on their word, if every villain goes back on their word, then why would anybody trust them? It's like, well, let's see. Well, if you're going to go back on your word, then why am I going to make a deal with you anyway? Because, so I'm going to get the bum deal anyway. So I just, it's like, somehow words got to get out. Like, it drives me nuts with villains. But with Hades, and I think a lot of it's because he's like the god complex, the whole god of the underworld and all of that. there's like this force that's bounding him by this deal. So he cannot take Hercules' strength unless Hercules willingly gives it up. And so he makes that deal. What's interesting? So later on, all chaos breaks loose. Hades frees the Titans. The Titans run amok and basically uses the Titans to take over the, what do they call it in Greek mythology? Heaven? I don't know. So the upper world? I don't know. We're going to call it the upper world. He uses the Titans to go up against Zeus, his big brother, big god Zeus, god of all. And there is Hercules, and he's left without his strength. So he's got to do what he can do, and he goes up against the Cyclops, and while he does defeat the Cyclops, okay, Cyclops goes down, knocks the tower, and Megara goes in, pushes Hercules out of the way of the tower so Hercules doesn't get smashed. Then Megara gets smashed by the tower. And Hercules goes to lift that tower up. Now he's lost his strength. He gave it up to Hades. But the deal was that Megara wouldn't get hurt. Meg got hurt. He goes to lift up that tower and he gets his strength back. Okay? Here's where the part gets really interesting. I love, like, he goes back to Hades, he goes to the underworld. Okay? After he defeats, after he defeats the Titans, basically uprooting Hades' whole plan, helps his dad gain command again, he goes to the underworld to get Megara back, because Megara's gone, her thread of life is cut, and she's in the underworld now. Her soul is in the underworld. Hercules goes to the underworld to get Meg back. He makes a deal with Hades. You like making deals? The son of your enemy? Bound forever in there. It's like, take me in Meg's place. Hades says, sure, cool. It's like, yeah, but you're never going to make it out. Hercules goes into the River of Souls, finds Megara, and his thread is about to be cut. Soon as he grabs Megara, his thread cannot be cut. Okay? Because at that moment, his sacrifice of himself, his love, made him a true hero. Like, he does all these crazy things. He goes up against all these creatures and monsters and all of this stuff going around. He's basically become a superhero of ancient Greece, and like he's everywhere. He's really big. Okay? But he's been like more of the commercial hero. He has not been, like, it wasn't until that moment when he went into when he sacrificed himself for Megara, he became a hero. So at that moment, he saves Megara. Hades can't take him now. I mean, it's just, that is just, wow. I mean, that's one of the, oh, I love that moment. It's so good. I mean, just like, it's really touching. Because here's a guy, like, he could have everything. He's a god. He could be part of the gods. Olympus, that's what they call it. Olympus. Olympus is basically the land of the gods. But he could be he could live with the gods, be a god. Like, nobody is greater than that. but he chooses a life with Megara because he loves Megara. He wants to be with Megara, and it's like, even a life without my love is not a life. I mean, it's just, it's beautiful. Okay, I mean, Megara pretty much made that choice earlier with the first guy, and that guy didn't choose her. That guy went off with somebody else. Which I'm not sure how that would have worked if that would have gone. It's like Megara sells her soul to save her boyfriend. If her boyfriend still loved her, could he go back for? I don't know. Her boyfriend wasn't. That gets complicated. But regardless, that guy pretty much just like, oh, well, I'll just go for the next girl. But Hercules, like, he could have everything, and he chooses to be with Megara. That's really touching. And so I really love Hercules. Hercules is so that is the spoiler half of my review. So let's see you next time, and this is the Pope's Perspective.